Welcome to the Menopause Queen Podcast. Yes, finally, it's been a minute. So I wanted to talk about, in this particular podcast, a number of things. And one of them, the biggest one, is all about becoming home. So often, during our life journey, and particularly during phases of challenge, whether that be the menopause or whether that be other challenges, we look to the outside for validation or for help or to sort something out. We look to the outside to get that, as opposed to going inwards. I write themes for the year. I write a word down that will encompass the whole of the year that has 12 letters. And then each of the letters forms the first letter of each month of the year. Now I do this in the October of the previous year around my birthday. It's just a tradition that I've put in place for myself. And I now use this in my coachings with my group and also I suppose generally in what I put out there in social media, in my newsletters, etc. For 2026, and bear in mind I put this in place in October 2025, July was Traverse, inspired by Eat, Pray, Love and the Traversiamo, and August was Introspection. Now, it's an ironic thing because the summer is often a time when we are outside a lot. We are fully in the outdoorsy, visual, bright sunshine, do stuff, active kind of phase of the year. And yet, if you think about it, the solstice happens in June. And the summer solstice, and after that moment you are on the arc towards the winter. So actually by the end of August you are already approaching those winter months. So it's kind of an ironic situation. Plus the world events right now are kind of encouraging us, I believe, to take a little bit of a back step because we're traversing something huge and go into introspection, to look inwards. That little witch, Amy Smith in the UK, came out with a really nice idea recently in one of her reels. And she said, imagine you're going on a journey and you're taking with you various possessions that you think you need. And as well as your clothes and your shoes and the practical things, you're taking with you some people and you're taking with you some memories and you're taking with you a whole sort of gambit of possessions that you think you need. So you go on this journey. And then it comes to the point where you're coming home and you look at the possessions that you've laid out to put back into the suitcase or the backpack, and you realize that you don't need most of them. So you start to take away some of the people that are no longer in your life or don't need to be in your life. The possessions or the memories that have had their place at one time, but they don't need to be here anymore. And in fact, you reduce down that bag by a good 2/3. And what you're left with really is who you are and what you really and truly need. So in fact, you don't need to go home. You have become your home, because the journey is all about becoming who you are truly. And I think that the menopause period is the best period to go inwards and to have a look at all of that. What do I most need? Who do I most want to be in this chapter of my life? What do I wish to leave behind permanently? What do I wish to change or modify? What no longer belongs to me? What has so been entrenched in my daily that I'm not entirely sure where it came from, but is it what I want to be doing now? Is that part of my now reality? Or if you're in the heart of the menopause and you're not sure that any of what you're going through is what you want in your new reality, what is that new reality? What is the vision of you and your life, that woman that you are becoming. What home does that look like? What colours has it got? What's the decoration? What's the Pinterest kind of scheme that's going on there? Because if you have that vision, and if you have that passion and that idea of where you're going, it's much easier to traverse, go through it, because you loosely know where you're going. But, and there is a crucial but in this, you don't know where you're going because you have no control over that final space and over that final goal. You have an idea, you have a direction. You could be even very, very driven, but you cannot know 100% that that's what's going to happen, because so many things happen along the way. We traverse so many different things along the way. Just think, if you are listening to this and you're in the heart of your menopause, just think of all the things that you have already been through. I had this whole conversation with my youngest daughter's best friend recently. They both just turned 18, and I was traveling with her best friend to surprise my daughter. And we had all sorts of conversations, and she came out with two things that are incredibly flattering and complimentary and really touched my soul. The first one was, Charlotte, when I look at you, that's the woman that I want to become. You are what I'm aiming for. I mean, that you can't get a better compliment from an 18-year-old child. I really don't think you can. And then as we talked about my past, she said, oh my God, I don't know how you've been through all of that. How have you done it? Have you not just kind of given up along the way? How have you done it? How have you been so resilient? And I did take a pause and I thought about it and I said, you know what, Anna, I've done it in stages. I've done it through time. And when I was living through it, the traversiamo, when I was going through it, traversing through it, I was literally living each day as a new day, because you can do nothing else. And I actually was super satisfied with very small improvements. And those little improvements led to bigger ones. And then the days turned into weeks and months. And then the next challenge comes along, but you're not unarmed or unprepared for it because you already have quite an army behind you of experience. So you tackle it differently and as a different person and with different perspective and different strengths and different ideas. And so you do it step by step. You traverse it patchwork piece by patchwork piece to create this quilt at the end of resilience and of life experience. It's done bit by bit. And it's funny because in the same weekend, one of the trainers that comes to the stable and that looks after young horses and helps us have a relationship with our horses, desensitize them to certain experiences so that they're much calmer when they're faced with situations. Last year, he said the same phrase to me and it touched me then. He said, just be satisfied with a small thing, with the smallest of things, meaning the smallest improvement, the smallest sign that he's understood what I'm trying to communicate to him. Just satisfy yourself with the smallest of things. Because we live in a world where that's not enough, right? We always want more. We always want the bigger, the better. But if I've got this, then I should have this. Buy one, get one free kind of scenario. But what if that wasn't the case? What if we should just content ourselves with what we have, with what we are? And I kind of want to leave it there. But I do just want to conclude with one more thing, because it really touched my soul as well. And not in a very brilliant way, in the sense that I joined a retreat. Well, I was teaching part of a retreat that was organized by my friend Jill. And it was all about this is me. It was all about encouraging middle-aged women to shine, to sing their tune, to have big visions, and to really feel confident that they can do it, that they're able to do it. So I came along and I taught a workshop on the whole of a Sunday morning. It was really good fun. It was funny, fun, but empowering as well. But in one part of the conversation, one of the ladies said, "Isn't it amazing that you have lived from your passions for such a long time, that you've been able to earn a living?" And I thought about this, and it was an intentional decision I made 25 years ago to live from my passion. It has not been easy. There have been many sacrifices along the way. There has been near burnouts. There have been many failures along the way. There still are. I can't say that I earn an extraordinary living from my passions, but I do earn a living from my passions. And that part is extremely true. And then she said something that made me sad. She said, "I don't think I have any passions. I'm not passionate about anything." And that really struck a chord in me, because I find that the gift of life, that we owe the gift of life, firstly, the respect that it deserves. We're alive. We are lucky to grow old. But secondly, a life should be lived with passion and passionately. Not necessarily because every day might be the last. Believe me, I've nearly died twice, so that has been the case in the past with me. And I do tend to pack things into a day and enjoy every opportunity that is there. But living a life without passions, without being passionate about something, that's sad. Doesn't a life deserve to be honoured with passion? Even if it's something really small, content yourself with the smallest of things, but be passionate about it. Please be passionate about it, because life is amazing. Even if sometimes in the heart of the menopause you're going, today's not, I've forgotten my name, I've forgotten where I live, I have no idea where my children are, and I have no idea what to cook for dinner or whether there will be any dinner. Some days are messed up, right? But in every single day, celebrate the smallest of things. Come back to what is essential, and always have the vision of, what woman do I want to be, and how am I going to get there? Be passionate, if nothing else, about that. Have an amazing rest of the summer. If you like this, please join the Menopause Queen Hub. It is a platform I've put together on School. There is a big part of it that is free. I would love to see the membership grow and grow and grow over the next few months. So check that out. There is a link below this video to go and have a look. If you want to join as a monthly membership, you can, and there are many, many more practices in there if you do so. Yoga, meditation, guidance, self-help, etc. And at the very least, if you could just like and subscribe to this channel and like this particular episode and go and check out the others, I would be very grateful. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.